Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday evening. It is 9 o'clock. Time to live stream. But first, a little music, as always. Enjoy. Good evening, Budgie.
We are all the heirs to Scotland, as a nation proudly stand. We will march beneath her banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let a flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. To the world we bid a welcome in 1,000 different ways. We will toast to long lost friendships as we build our better days. In the glens and cities, there on every street are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. We are all the heroes of Scotland. We're a nation hand in hand. We will march beneath her banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum.
Good evening, folks. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're enjoying the good weather that we seem to be having for the moment. I spent a good bit of the time out at the back of the house, which has been a nice change from stuck indoors, that's for sure. Of course, I had my friend from Glasgow down last week, Freddie, in fact. Oh, there's Silius. Good evening, Silius. Well, it's kind of you for asking. Yes, I have for the most part been well. I have days I'm better than others, of course, like everyone else. But yeah. But last Thursday night, my neighbour was out burning a lot of fire, so my curiosity got the better of me. I had to go and see what was going on. And didn't I fall? Yeah, silly old fool that I fell. Didn't do too much damage as far as I know. Uh, and then I was back out in fright again. But the weather was up for it, so you got to make the best of the weather when we get it. It's not that often we get it. Well, we don't get it often enough, put it that way. We just do it. So Friday night, I was out with, as I say, my friend from Glasgow. I had some beer, he had some whiskey, a top-notch Cuban cigar, which I could only envy. I miss the cigars, I must say. I always enjoyed smoking a nice cigar. Good cigar, good company, a fire. What more can a body ask for? I was stepping down, Sheila, from the decking onto the grass, and instead of following my own advice to other people, I didn't lead with my good leg. I led with my bad leg, and the grass was a bit damp, and I could feel myself I was going to go. So, like we all do, I started to try and correct the fall, and instead fell the other way. However, uh, hiya toffee. So I didn't actually trip over anything. I was stepping down. I had my slippers on and not the best of footwear when the grass is slightly damp. So anyway, I went down and I had to get my son to get me back up because my neighbour, pardon me, who I was talking to has got a bad heart, and so I just saw this comedic. I'm lying on the ground on my back, can't get up, and John, my neighbour, is down trying to pull me up, has a heart attack and collapses on top of me. So now there's two of us. So anyway, my son came down and got me up, but nothing was terribly bruised or broke. There you go. Well, that's it, silly issue, mate. You feel like a real fool. There's nothing like an old fool. Oh. So that's the story of how I fell. Stupid, as it usually is. And I'm always warning other people for doing that. A domino effect. I felt a bit peculiar, right, Jude? On Friday, I felt a bit wobbly on Friday. But eventually, over the weekend, all of that dissipated. So that was good. So no accidents after. I don't know if you've heard the latest news. Oh, you're quite right. Of course, Sheila. It can shake you, and it did a bit. Let's confess, it did a bit, but it didn't dent my confidence. I've just got to be more careful and not lead with a weak leg. Take your time, the usual, all the things I say to other people. And the worst thing that can happen to you when you're old is to have a bad fall, as you all know. I'm sure you all know this. When my mother was in the nursing home, she was 94, and did you see any of Saturday's George Square gathering? Asks Budgie. No, I did not, Budgie. I have not seen any of it. Is this protests against genocide, or is it for something else? But no, I haven't seen anything, Budgie. Yeah, I was going to tell you, my mother fell in the nursing home. She broke her hip, and they took her in to fix it, which they did. And I kid you not, she was back on her feet in a week, walking about as though nothing had happened. Quite remarkable. Just quite remarkable. Couldn't believe it. At that age, it normally kills them, but not my mother. Oh, surely you have no idea how remarkable this lady was. I mean, well into her 80s, she was working for young couples, going into their houses and doing their laundry for them. Put all the stuff in a washing machine and all that, ironing, tidying up. She was walking there, doing the work and walking back. She was baby watching up into her 80s as well. A generation of women and men. Remarkable. Absolutely remarkable people. Now, that's what I would call truly strong, independent females. And, on top of that, she's looking after herself in her own house. Quite remarkable. What killed her, of course, was old age. 95. Yeah, quite remarkable. So, what was this about at George Square then? Middle East, Ukraine. I see Treble M isn't here today so far. So, how many how many people in the chat are left-handed? being a left-handed used to be something that was incredibly rare. Good evening, James Hayworth. Hello there, old friend. Wow. It's nice to see you here. It's nice to know that you're alive and well. So is anybody here in the chat left-handed? No? Partly left-handed people are on the rise. I'm one, of course. Uh, I just wondered, if you're not left-handed, you see, it's something that affects people much more than you would think. So, I'm off to the hospital on Thursday for my consultation. You're quite right, James. That's exactly how it used to be seen, as sinister, as though you stood in the shadow of Satan himself. Well, thank you, Sadie. Rill, good evening, Rill. I hope you're doing all right, sir. Toffee, you should title your streams specific subjects. The viewership is hemorrhaging, mate. I know it is. It's been doing that for a long time. They're not too entertaining. I say that from the heart. I'm not trying to be a dick. No, I understand. I would agree with you. Yes, Sheila, that's exactly what they used to do. They used to try and knock it out of you. I used to do that, Toffee. I used to put up titles. But the viewership's been going down for long enough. I keep threatening to pack it in. Talk about me. I keep threatening me. Well, apparently when I first went to school, apparently my mother told me that she went to the schools and told the teachers that I was to be left alone, that I should not suffer any punishments for being left-handed. So that was my mother, of course, protecting me. James, which puzzled me as Ned Flanders in The Simpsons, was the most God-fearing and also a lefty. Sillius, will you be doing a Halloween stream this year? The one from a couple of years ago was bloody brilliant. You could have your own wee thing every year. A bit of how Oz does. Does he still do that? Millennial, yeah. Silliest, to be honest with you. I don't know what I'm going to do that far ahead. A lot depends on what the doctors say. That's where I am with it. I've been doing this for about 5 years. And I've still got the channels still struggling with subscribers. Everybody that you know sends them. William. All the people that you know of all their channels are all much larger than mine. And at one time, as you all know, I used to do 3 nights a week. Yeah, that's about right, James. That's about right. So I say to myself, am I really wasting my time? I think what I'll have to do, folks, I have to wait and see what the doctors say this week. And then I have to make a decision about what I'm going to do with the channel. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy just sitting here talking to you folk. But I understand the point Toffee's making because I've made it myself, to myself, for years. I just want to sit here and talk philosophically. But does it appeal to everybody? I don't see the point of me doing uh, what Sensum does. We, we don't need somebody else doing that. Good evening, Blaze. William's the same. He's got his niche. That's what I'm saying. Each person has a niche, which is something I have not had ever had a niche market. So I don't know. I don't know. Well, that's what I like to think. That's what I like to think. It's part of why I came on was to talk about the past, the way it used to be, so that you younger people would know that that was the truth of the matter, that things were a particular way because somebody who lived through it told you so. Somebody that you could trust and say, well, if John said that, that's the way it was. That's what I thought was valuable. Blaze. The past should be our present. Oops. Discussing how we have went from a society of greatness to this, what we have now. Yep. Well, Toffee, let me try to answer what you're saying there. Millennial woes makes me question my involvement in these circles. An admitted perverted homosexual who did a video about him acting inappropriately towards a woman. Now, I have no direct experience of that particular incident, but it happened. At the time when it happened, Millennial Wars was a big name. So he was a big name. Used to, don't know if he still does, but he used to get invited to all sorts of conventions over in Europe. Quite right place. It was all the same. Millennial Wars was highly thought of for a long time. And he, believe it or not, I came across him when he had less than 100 subs. Good evening, William. And it was through him that I learned about grooming gangs. He put out a series of videos at the time, and this was all news to me. In fact, I had to watch these videos, I think about 3 or 4 times, because I couldn't really understand what he was talking about to begin with. That's how well it had all been kept out of the newspapers. Now, you all know I don't ever read newspapers, never have. So, but my friends did. In fact, my big friend Jerry, who died a few years ago, he was an avid newspaper reader. So had anything like that ever appeared, he would have known about it. In the end, I would have known about it, but I didn't. And neither did he. That's how well it had been suppressed. And that's how I came across it, was through Millennial Wars. And he was the very first person that I stopped on back then. Because I used to do what we now call just ghosting, really. Watching a channel but not signing in. Because in those days I refused to give up my personal details. And that went on for quite a while. And then this incident occurred. Sure, Toffee, I'll have you come on. I'll continue to fill this gap up. It's important, obviously. At the time when this all exploded, this encounter with this female, whoever she was, he was very, very close to Mark Collette. There you go, Toffee. Okay. So he was very, very close to Mark Collette. Good evening, sir.
Evening, Jam Boy. My mic audio good?
Say again?
Is my audio good?
It could be a touch louder, but just a touch.
Yeah, wait there. I'll close me. I've got my windows open. How about now?
Oh, that's fine.
Golly good. How
Right.
are you, sir?
I'm doing all right, Toffee. Like I said, I waited to see what the docs say on Thursday. I want to continue now that I started this story about millennial woes, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to talk about, lad. I tell you what,
Right.
though, just before we begin, mate.
Yeah.
You're looking well, you know, lad. No, you
Yeah.
just showed your forearm there. You got a bit of a toned forearm on you.
Yeah, everybody says that. Everybody
You
says I'm looking
genuinely have,
good.
mate. You're looking well.
There you go.
You are looking well, mate. And it's good to see.
So,
I missed the millennial woes.
yeah, let's continue onward. So, yeah, I have never heard the details about what's supposed to have gone on. I've only heard it all through third party. But I seem to be like a lot of you good people. There are names that they come on and they become big and they become important. And he was one of them. Very important, as I say. He used to get invited over to Europe for these conferences to speak. And he was highly regarded by Mark Collette and company. And then some was said about him and some women that, excuse me, ladies, might sound a bit crude here, but this is the way I'm going to put it. What I was told was that he had sent either a live image of his penis or a photographic image of his penis to this lady. And of course, that never went down too well with the woman involved. And it caused a big split, apparently, between him and Mark Collette. And he got cast out into the wilderness, where he remained for some good time.
Well, he quickly got invited back, didn't he? Yeah, anyone in the chat or yourself. I know you just said, obviously, he's a high-profile person at the time. So you do run the risk of, don't get me wrong, never underestimate the spitefulness of women.
Oh,
and they
gosh.
can possibly make accusations against you. But, let's have it right. You obviously have not seen it, John. The
No.
lad, all of the messages between him and this bird have been made public. If some bird accused me of being, guess what? In all of my years of life, no woman has ever accused me of being sexually inappropriate. Ever. Because I'm not.
Yeah.
Most of us aren't.
Well,
So
that's true.
all of the messages were, yeah, listen, all of the messages were revealed, and he was saying to her, I'm sorry, this is all out there, you can go and look it up. He was apologizing for the fact. It was all of the messages have been released. I'm sorry if I made you feel like this. Da, 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 da. And then he went on a little, decided to take a sort of backtrack on that and did a video where he was like, I was only saying that because I'm a high profile person and she's accused me, blah, blah, blah. If some bird accused me of being inappropriate and I wasn't, I'd tell her to sod off. I wouldn't go along with it. I wouldn't apologize for it like he did. That's exactly what he did. This fella, mate, there's people who I'm good friends with, like the Ayatollah and the Woodlander, for example, although we're not as close of friends as we once was. I have to say to them, I won't, because they appear on Millennial. I was like, they have to say to me, don't say nothing in the chat to him. I know you don't like him, and I know you're right. So I was like, yeah, I promise not to. This fella, mate, is absolutely revolting. How anyone on our side, just think of that quote he made. Literally, this is the exact quote. I can't remember the amount of men I had sex with during my gay period. Like, are you messing? And he's in our circles and we're associating with this fella. You take the piss out of people who are like Tommy Tards and lefties. Get a grip.
Did he say that? Is that what he said?
Literal quote. I can't count the amount of men I had sex with during my gay period. This lad is absolutely disgusting. He's clearly, every gay is sexually weird. He is a sexual weirdo. And PA did like boot him out and were like, oh, not interested. And then they soon let him back in. Don't like PA either, but that's another story. This fella's disgusting. Disgusting.
I've never heard that before. But I agree. I agree with you. I do.
I've got your email, John. Yeah, in fact, I haven't. I can't remember the last bit of it. Was it Hotmail or?
Cartomancer.
Put it up on the thing for me, John. I'll send you all of the stuff after it. These circles annoy me. This is what I've just been saying earlier, that I question it. Because I think, like, have we got any morals here? It's weird. Just because I'll admit he's a great speaker and he's very charismatic and he's interesting to listen to. But once you realize someone is a disgusting sexual degenerate like him, surely we can have a bit of a moral compass where we're like, you can do one. Surely.
Well, if I had anything to do with it, he wouldn't be. If he applied to become a party member, he wouldn't become a party member. And that would be why he wouldn't become one. Because my way of looking at it, my idea is that we should become standard bearers for our people, which means we have to be such that other people look up to us. And if you're going around with that sort of stuff attached to you, they can't look up to you. So you can't be part of the political party then.
But I'll tell you another thing that annoys me about him, John. He claims that he got doxxed, which he did. He did get doxxed.
Oh, no.
He claims that he can't get a job now. The last year when he done Millennial, like the beginning of December, and there's a fella called Nativist Concern, who I'm neither here nor there. I haven't got an opinion about him, but he rightfully called it out. So at the beginning of December, Millennial Woes was like, "Oh, my laptop's broke," and done like a little fundraiser, like he needs money. I can't get a job. My laptop's broke. I need to go and get a job. I've got a fucking sorry, I've got a
Well,
criminal record for GBH. This fella just got doxxed. There's no reason that you can't get a job. You fat, lying, little tramp. It really winds me up, these little grifting types. Go and get a job. There's no reason you can't get a job. Tramp.
well, again, I would think, having been a postie at one time, you should be able to get a job in the post office over the Christmas period. Every other bugger gets one.
Imagine, mate, at the beginning of, like, literally at the beginning of December, when you're going to do your little thing that you do. I need some money for a laptop. And he raised, like, a good few £1,000 for it.
Wow.
Oh, makes me sick. He really makes me sick. And do you know, John, I've really been questioning why I'm involved. I've in these circles, and I haven't done it. So I'm 36 now. I've been involved in nationalism in one way or another since I was 16.
Yes, but what did
A lot of my old nationalist friends say to me, lad, there's no point in trying to wake people up. Just get on with your life and just wait for the inevitable. But I can't do that. I can't keep my mouth shut. But the last month or so, I've genuinely been questioning myself. Like, are these people even worth saving? I've sat myself out of it. I don't think that now. But just being on Telegram and just the inconsistencies and the bullshit you witness with our so-called people really did make me question myself. You follow little puffers. You follow people who are clearly feds. And I just had like a really honestly, I thought for a bit, I'm just going to remove myself. You genuinely deserve everything you get, the British public. But as I've said, I've snapped myself out of it.
Good.
But I was thinking that for a while.
No, you can't do that, Toffee. We need everybody we can get, my friend. The trouble is, this is where the trouble is. The trouble is that nobody, well, apart from a few, and I'll count myself as one of them, holds any kind of standards. Well, I do. We had this conversation, you and I, ages ago. And I said to you, did I not, that because of your background, it wouldn't prevent you from becoming a member of the party. Is that not true?
Yeah, true.
And the reason why is because once you become a party member, what you then do is on you. You then become a reflection for the general public. As somebody like yourself, who I assume has got some kind of profile in your hometown because of your success with your business and whatnot. If they found out that you were a member of the People's Party, that would be impressive to them because they know you, they know the kind of person you are, and you know what's important to you. And they would then say, well, that must stand for something, for Toffee to think that way. But that's wasted, that's undercut when you get other folk who are letting this kind of carry on with millennial woes and others to go on without saying anything. you'll never get anywhere. Our party has to be above the rest. Our party members must hold themselves above the rest. Otherwise, we're wasting our time. That's how I see it.
And there's nothing you will find in my background that's dodgy. Literally, like, I regret it deeply. My convictions were for GBH, and they were both against left wing people who were being hostile towards me.
Yeah.
So I haven't got in. And like, honestly, as you just said there, standards is the key word. I'm not. I didn't do. I've done overall, overall 5.5 years in jail. I've done 5.5 years, and I'm 36. I've wasted a good portion of my life, and I'm not
Absolutely.
betraying my standards now to have little weirdos who are weird with women. And he's not the only one. There's a load of them on Telegram, and there's a load of them who I've spoke to in the past who just completely betray their values when it suits them. They just let people off like, oh, that's all right. That's all right. And it does my head
No,
in, mate.
it's
The
not
amount
all
of
right.
people who go on our side about Tommy, quote unquote, no, Tommy Robinson, Tommy Tards, they call them, and they make out that they're in the cult. There's plenty of people on our side who act exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Well, we should not have anything to do with them. This is it. I suppose if I were to put it the way I'd like to
Yeah,
put
John.
it,
Yeah, sorry, mate.
sure.
Right. People won't like, I've mentioned this before. I don't care, me. I'm honest. What purpose? And there's people in the chat who are members who will think, what is the purpose of PA exactly? What purpose do they serve? What do they do exactly? Because it seems to me that they just self-preserve. They're not interested in anything outside them. Like I was going on about the other week, this thing in Liverpool, and they made themselves out to be a quote unquote. This is what Mark said, a white advocacy movement. So I sent all of their members this thing, and they weren't interested in sharing it because there was nothing in it for them. So I don't understand how people can point out Tommy Tards being little idiots and not think people who follow PA are. It's a complete grift. And I speak to people in there and I'm friendly with them. And I've been friendly with Laura Talbot herself and spoke to her. And I think it's disgusting that Sam is in jail. But that is nothing more than a shit show.
Toffee, I think I have been saying this in my own way for years now. I came to these conclusions when I first started applying to form a political party. And I discovered that certain things were told to me by that commission, that were in complete contrast to what Mark Collette had been saying publicly. And I made up my mind because of the treatment I got from the commission, which was very helpful. It was not abrasive, it was friendly, it was helpful. And I made up my mind, he's lying. He's lying. Why? Because he can't get his organisation to be accepted as a political party. And we don't need to go into the whys or wherefores of that. And so, therefore, I came to the conclusion that my party cannot have anything to do with PA. Can't have it. Why? Because I don't want my party to be smeared by anything that can be thrown at him. And anything that he is involved in, is going to go down the tubes because of his reputation that he created himself as a young man.
And loads of people will fall out with me over this, but I couldn't care less. I don't. What would be the point of me being online if I'm not going to be honest?
There
It's
is
just
none.
completely pointless. And I tell you, mate, I won't go into.
What's happened? We've lost him. We lost you, Toffee. I'm sure I'll be back.
Honestly, if you're,
We've lost
I did a video like when I had
Toffee.
my old YouTube channel. I did a video saying, "Don't get involved with PA." So anyone who's not listened, you just deserve whatever you get.
Yeah, well, Budgie is saying there are plenty of ex-members of PA who are worth listening to.
Yeah, there
Right.
is, mate, and there's plenty of people in PA who are good people, Budgie. I'm talking about the leadership.
Well, we're always talking about the leadership. That's the problem. That's the problem. I have danced around it for years because I need to take a break. I
Yeah, why you
danced.
take a breath,
No,
John? So they do. Why
no.
you take a breath? Why you?
I
Go
want to
on.
continue onward. I have danced around it because I never wanted to be considered someone who destroyed the movement by throwing accusations around, causing trouble. I never wanted to be that person. I still don't want to be that person. But I have always said, and I told Kenny Smith this to his face, we as a movement will never get anywhere when Mark Collette is attached to it, because all the newspaper and media have to do is bring out something that he said years ago, and that's it, it's gone. And I had to figure out a way to try and move the People's Party forward and avoid all that, to make sure that any time we were in the newspapers, it was positive publicity. And I figured out a way to do it, and I have been doing it ever since. But if he ever attached to us, that would be all gone in an instant.
Yeah, I will listen to this. I'll keep this vague. I'll keep it vague. You make your own mind up, audience. So there was a new ITV, I think it was, and it was you're on to National Action, John, the group that was prescribed under the terrorism
Yeah.
legislation. Yeah. So I know a couple of people, scousers, who were involved. One of them who's currently in jail now, James Costello. So ITV did a news report where they had this weird training thing going on. They blared out Mark Collette's face. Make your own mind up. Honestly, you keep following this little fella, Mark Collette, mate. Have you seen him on game on his little streams? The way he speaks to people like shit, where he has
Mark
little
Collette,
spaz outs.
you
He was
talking
like,
about
if you spoke to me like that, you little nit. He used to be called the runner in his BMP days.
is it,
Ah,
are you talking about Mark Collette?
Mark Collette, yeah.
Yeah, I had him on this channel.
Why doesn't he get nicked? Why doesn't all this, like, why do people around him get nicked and he doesn't? Why is his face get blared out in news reports? Come on. I can even tell you the point where he turned. He got arrested. No, I don't want to say too much.
No, you be careful what you say here, Toffee. You're talking. Listen, when you talk to me about this person, you're talking to the converted. Okay? I don't think he should be in the front row, either in PA or anywhere else. That's my opinion.
I think of all the other. I'll tell you another one who's dodgy, who's the most obvious works for the security services that Mark Collett introduced into the fold, who now has a big following, and he's got a channel on Telegram that's notorious for just Fed posting. There's a little fella, I won't name him, little skinny, big skinny tall fella from, where's he from? Folkestone or something. And he's got like really professional looking photos in his profile picture. Yeah, anyone in the chat, John might not know, but you might know what I'm talking about. He went over to the camps in Calais and suddenly got press credentials. He just like really is in the thick of it constantly. He recently done a debate with Lawrence, you know Lawrence Fox, John?
Yeah.
Recently done a debate with him. He is the most obvious security asset. If you've got half a brain in your head and you've been involved in nationalism for longer than 10 years, Collett introduced him. All of a sudden he's out there, face out nationalist. Hey, it's me, the little fucking. Oh my God. Honestly, it does my head. And I almost, John, like it as a sort of Schadenfreude kind of way, hope people get into trouble for being so naive and stupid and following these obvious things. It does. Oh. Sorry, I'm on a rant tonight. But...
No, it's okay. I appreciate it. I do. I really do. You kind of what you're saying kind of helps to make up my mind that the last thing I should do is quit.
Anyone who doesn't think he's a state asset is ridiculous, really. Not ridiculous, naive. And just think, John, most of the people in our circles now who we speak to, they were sort of only like got quote unquote based during, say, the COVID period. And they're like, hey, something's going on here. I've been based since I was 16. I know what's going on. I know that all of our quote unquote movements, the far right quote unquote, is full of assets, is full of the security services. We're the biggest threat to them. So we are absolutely flooded with these people. And there's two of them, him and that little skinny boy from Folkestone with his professionally taken pictures. And sorry, John, but just for people in the chat, you're not on Telegram. So this little skinny boy has got a Telegram channel. It's an open chat, and it's notorious amongst our circles for just being carnage. It's just Fed posting, people just Nazi stuff, people arguing. So just engage your brain, people. Why does this channel exist? He's got his own name on this channel. And I'll tell you what, sorry, John, this might seem a bit alien to you, John, because you're not on Telegram. So do you know this Southport stabbing that happened? Them three little girls. There was a channel on, do you know, obviously the feds are going to get right all over it. There was Telegram channels who were saying, this is a quote, these silly Fed posting ones who were saying, everyone, let's go and burn down mosques. Let's go and burn down Sikh temples. Blah, 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 blah.
Well,
All of
that's
the
fine.
sensible channels deleted these obviously dodgy ones, but that Skinny Boy channel left it in there. He left it. He left all of that. He left it. And David Clues has been in trouble for it recently. Why didn't little Skinny Boy get in trouble for it?
Exactly.
Because he's a busy.
Well, how many times have you heard me say, I can't talk about that, this is an open channel? If it was a private discussion, that would be different. I regularly say stuff like that because I'm aware that it's an open channel. That anyone can come here, anyone can say anything for any reason, and I don't know who they are. And that's what we have to be careful about, or we should be careful about.
Yeah, Blaze has just said it. Blaze is a good guy. Perfectly. Evidence gathering channels. That's exactly what it is.
Well, I wouldn't argue, Toffee, that's for sure. I wouldn't argue. But I have said this often. People have asked me, oh, so what do you think we should do? And I'll say, well, I've got my ideas, but I'm not going to talk about them on an open channel because I'm not. I don't trust it. Never have done. So why would I talk about it? What we're talking about now is okay because there's nothing confidential being said here. I don't even say anything confidential in the so-called green room because I don't trust it. So yeah, I would like more people to join the party, but there's certain things that needs to happen, and we can't just give all the information out about what we should be doing or what we could be doing in terms of activism. That's daft. It's like giving your battle plan out before the battle starts.
Yeah.
Nobody does that.
I'm literally, mate, I'm going to do my own private kind of personal activism from now on. I'm not interested in any group. I'm not joining them. I don't agree with them, any of them. Any of these out there, nah, I'm just not
That
joining
doesn't
them. I'll do
include
my
me.
own thing.
Does that include me?
No, not on you. I'm talking about I'm
I
talking
know
about
what you mean. Yeah, the people you're
like
talking about.
I wanted to, yeah, I mean, and this is nothing against them, absolutely nothing, and nothing against the man himself because I'm good friends with him and I respect him. My last little foray into getting involved in groups, the Woodland Initiative. I was involved in that for a while, but I'm not now. I'm not. I'm gonna. This is me personally. I'll do my own thing. I don't like, as we've explained earlier. I'm more of a moral standards kind of person, and if you're letting, I don't know, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. What's this? Silliest. What's
I've
this?
realised as well recently with me finger the Liverpool thing. I've realised that I can have a bit of influence over people. Do you know what it was? This stabbing thing that happened in Liverpool, and I sent it out. Remember me explaining it to you?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I realised that I can do better myself, just getting the message out there rather than being involved in groups. It's
Well, for the
more.
moment, that's a good way to go. That's what I would say to you. That's a good way to go. it could
Yeah,
be
sorry,
very
mate.
effective.
John, here's another one. Silly as sodders. Who remembers Mark's girlfriend with the Swazi tattoos on the neck? It's like, come on, for the love of God. The Brexit campaign was kicking off, and he turns up with this bird with Swazi tattoos all over it. Are
That's
you
right.
messing? How much of a retard do you have to be to not see what's going on there? For the love of God. Serious.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. I was staggered when I saw that photograph. What the hell's going on there? Is he daft?
No, he's not daft. He got nicked. He got nicked for doing something dodgy, and he's the most cowardly human being you could ever meet in your life. So he's just agreed, right? You can still be a nationalist, do your own thing, you chat your own stuff, and we'll let you off with it. Everyone who you deserve what you get. Everyone, you deserve what you get if you carry on following obvious shit like this. And I wipe my hands off you. You deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, Toffee. I feel sorry for all the young lads that have got into trouble over it.
I do. He's already got the amount of people. There was a young lad called Barclay Walsh. That was his internet name. Who I've spoke to. He got on me for legal advice because he was in trouble. So I've spoke to the lad.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been involved at that age. He was like 16 when he got involved.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, just Kate. I won't repeat it, but what you've just said there, yeah, that's true. And there's video evidence. Honestly, everyone, if you're getting led up this path with this person, take a step back and realise what's going on.
Exactly. I mean, I have said to party members individually via email that until certain conditions are met, this party will not appear on the streets of Great Britain. Because I don't want my party members to get the living shit kicked out of them or find themselves being lifted for this, that, and t'other. And that's why I don't ask or demand even that party members take to the streets for anything. Because that's what they're waiting on. We would have to be an awful lot bigger and an awful lot stronger before I would even venture out into the street.
Yeah.
Because I only say this, I only think most of the members and most of the people who come to the channel are a bit older. But I don't know for certain that there aren't others who don't show up, who are not so old, who might come up. And I'd feel really bad if young people, especially, found themselves in trouble with the law. Because their life is, as you well know, I expect a bit better than I, Toffee. Once your name's in with the law, it never goes away.
Well, no, it's always there, mate. I got led astray by older people who should have known better than me. Because I was like in my teens and I was a gay lad who could have a scrap. And they thought I got manipulated, and I realised that now, and I can see it happening again with this young lad I've just mentioned, Barclay. And don't get me wrong, most of the people in PA are wonderful, really great people. For example, Big Joe Marsh,
the Welsh nationalist,
Yeah.
who does his own thing. I've spoke to him. We know people. We know we've got mutual friends, but he shouldn't have got involved with this sly individual and that sly organisation.
Well, that's what I did. What happened is I became involved with PA because I supported the home school and I volunteered to write material for them because of my qualifications and experience in writing. And I did all that. The minute I got word from the commission that the party had been accepted, I quit PA instantly to separate myself personally and the party from PA as an organisation and Mark Collette as an individual. But I did have him on here. I brought him on deliberately to find out what kind of person he was by speaking to him directly. And I made up my mind that night what kind of person he was. So
I've took the stream off in my own little direction here. Do apologise, Sean. I'll have to duck out, mate. I've got to sort the dogs out. But thanks for having me on. Apologies if
you're going to walk the dogs?
Yeah, I've got to.
Okay,
it's
then.
raining on me. I have to walk them in shifts, so I've got 6. I have to walk 2 of them, and then 3 of them, and then 1 of them on their own, because my Gladys is just one of them types of dogs who isn't good with other dogs.
So you've got 6 now?
Yeah, well, I used to have 7. One of my dogs has gone into retirement with me, auntie. It's a family thing, staffies. I've got a big family, and they've all
got one.
We're sort of known for staffies in Verzachly and Croxteth. Yeah, I'll tell you, funny, John. Me nana, when I was a kid, she's from Croxteth, which is right by where I'm from. She was sort of famous in the area. She'd walk around with like a pack of staffies, all off the lead, and he'd just follow her around. So you go into, I don't know if you had them in Scotland, these like granny flats. You go into a flat every so often, and she'd have another staffy. It's like, man, where the fuck are you getting these dogs from? And she just used to. We just got a love for this breed. Like, they're really special dogs, you know, John, staffs. There's something really special about them. They're wonderful, wonderful animals.
I've never known anyone.
Anyone who's ever owned a staffy, they usually say, I wouldn't want to own another dog after one of these. They're great. They're brilliant.
Well, they must be special.
They're gentle. They're sort of like a gentle hard case. So they're like a lovely person, but they can batter you if they want
to. Look, Toffee, you'll need to come back on again.
Yeah, anytime, mate. Yeah, John, Sensen has just said to me he's doing his he's free on a Monday, so he's doing the Monday Night Raw. I like loan his channel. So do you remember, like the other year, we done that Monday Night Raw that you were on? So he's doing it again. He said. So I've got Homer Talk on this Monday coming. So if you sort it out with him, I'll have you on a Monday or Sentinel.
Yeah, okay. Well, you'll know better after Thursday what's happening, or after Friday rather. Once I know. But I'm in agreement with a lot of what you've been saying, Toffee. and have been for a long time. And I came at these conclusions on a completely different road from yourself. And that makes that more solid to come to a similar conclusion to someone else, and they come from a different point of view.
Right. I'm always honest, me. I'm nothing if not honest.
Well, that's the same here. I don't see any other way to be. It's easier. It makes life easier.
Yeah.
I don't have to memorize a whole load of lies that I've
Yeah,
said.
exactly. It takes effort to be misleading. Just be honest.
That's true.
Anyway, John, I've got to duck out, mate. God
Right,
bless you.
okay
I
then,
love you
Toffee.
lots, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for having me on, brother.
No
God
problem.
bless you, sir.
Right. Take care. Oh. Well, there you go, folks. That was unexpected. You see, I find it interesting that you folk in the chat are sitting thinking the same things most of the time as we are. But I've never wanted to be the person considered to be a troublemaker or someone who's breaking up a so-called movement. So I have kept a lot of my thoughts to myself. So it's interesting to me to hear other folk say things. Because it is important. And Toffee is right, and I know you good people know that he's right. We've always been considered dangerous, and that's why we're watched very carefully, very closely. Well, that's about the size of it, Sheila. Like-minded. Toffee and I had a similar conversation way back when he first appeared. And he told me quite straightforwardly that he didn't want to join the party in fear that he would give a bad name because he had been to prison. I said nothing to anyone about it, of course. And I told him, as you heard me say tonight, it's what you do as a party member that counts. What you do as an individual that counts. Once you wear the badge, once you start wearing that badge and people know what it is, then you become a reflection of what we stand for. And that's why it's important, vitally important, that you have morals, ethics. You have a direction. because the public see you, they see how you behave and what you say, what you stand for. Robert, they try to organise everything for us in an ordered way in advance, even a stealth uprising. We have to be organic. Yeah. I've seen things or heard things that going on that I don't approve of, but I don't say anything. Like that business with millennial woes. I've never spoken about it until tonight. Because he particularly does not take part in our little or my little area. Had he been involved in my area or the party, I would have kicked him out. Can't have that. We can't have that carry on with our women. Just can't have it. That's simple. If you're at times wondering whether it's worth carrying on or not, John, I feel you should, as long as you are reasonably able to. What drew me to your channel is its sense of mysticism. Well, that's a huge compliment. That's a huge compliment. There's James. Probably I have, as if you delve deep enough, who hasn't got things they would rather not have done in their past. I mean, I'm 52 and the shit I used to get up to. No problem, Toffee. Pleasure. The problem I have is if you delve deep enough, who hasn't got things they would rather not have done in the past? James, what you're trying to say there is it applies to all of us. There's different degrees. I've done things in the past I'm ashamed of, don't you think? Well, I have. Lots of things I wish I hadn't ever done, but I've done them. Yeah, Spanish chicken, that's a simpler way to put what I'm saying. It's just as accurate. We've all got history. All of us. Well, okay, Toffee. Okay. There is a limit. There is a limit. There is a limit. But, yeah, within reason. Come on, folks, within reason. Okay? And even if you had done something like that, that should be private. That should be in my opinion, between you, the person who's done that, if you've done something like that, and God. Some good, some bad, says Spanish chicken. We learn what's right with age. Well, that's a good quote, Anglo. Every saint has a history, and every sinner has a future. I like that. That's good. I agree with that. After all, I started my political life as a young boy, as a socialist. And learned as I got older and learned and started to read and educate myself and be part of the adult world. A socialist unsubbed. Wolfie. I don't think I've met anybody who started their political journey on the right. That's the journey that most people make. They travel from the left to the right. Some take longer than others. I certainly haven't met anyone who started on the right. I've met plenty who started on the left. I've also met people who started on the left and are still on the left. So, just Kate. I was a lefty until I moved south and experienced multiculturalism. Oh, there you go. A whole library of books here. A whole library of books that I read my way through over a long number of years. Along with watching documentaries on television when I had it, trying to find truth and trying to find my way. It was always right, says Spanish Chicken. I was wrong in 1983, but then proved right later. Oh, Just Kate, you bought my book. Wow. Which book did you buy, Kate? If you don't, I'd like to know that. I'm going to be the talk of the town in their little Telegram groups after what I've said this evening, says Trophy. Telegram is a pain. Well, as you all know, I don't have any. Ah, the American Odyssey one. Well, that's good. I'm pleased you bought that. I hope you got something positive out of it, Kate. I think there's a lot of truth in that, Budgie. You don't know you're in a cult until you leave the cult. And the left is a cult. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Oh, it's just arrived. Oh, it's just arrived, so I haven't started it yet. But looking forward to it. I hope you'll let me know when you finish what you think. See, I can see that now, Blaze. I know I'm a bit old for saying that, but I can see what you're saying. It's true. I wouldn't have seen that. I wouldn't have agreed with what you're saying there if I'd heard you say that when I was in my 20s. Yeah, that's a lot of truth there, Spanish Chicken. Common sense is a cure. What am I doing? I had that up. And one of the things about socialism, or even communism, I suppose, is it's never been voted into power, communism. It's always had to murder its way into power. Wherever it appears. You're absolutely right, Wolfie. Socialism is the path to communism. Yeah. Mass murderer said that. Mr. Lenin. Absolutely true. People die and starve, suffer. Bus. Good evening. Rain, rain, rain. Autumn has started. Hasn't rain hasn't started here. No, has. Yeah, I beg your pardon. You're right. 3 days ago it was raining. Has it stopped where you are, Wolfie? Yeah. Well, look, folks, we're coming up on 11 o'clock. And I'll bear in mind all the words of encouragement. Sparing the criminals and jailing political opponents are the actions of a communist state. Yeah, well, welcome to the communist state that is Britain. With a communist in charge. That's for sure. Well, thanks very much, Sadie. I'll let you know on Friday what they said. Well, I appreciate all the good wishes, folks. I do. Thank you very much. I have heard that one before, Budgie. Stalin said problems are caused by people. Eliminate the people and you eliminate the problems. Well, we should have eliminated him. Could have saved all those other folk. Well, as I say, folks, I thank you for your kind words. And we'll see what they say. It should be interesting. And it's nice to see you, James. Gosh, it seems a lifetime ago, does it not? When I was starting out and you were giving me all that advice. Wonderful. Good days those, eh? Yeah, we are much more. Anyway, I'll get the music going. And like I always say, folks, adios, au revoir, cheerio. And until Friday evening, goodbye for now. Take care. Enjoy the music. I'll speak to you Friday.
Silently the snow falls, paints a winter scene, swiftly spreads the dark rim, hides a fading autumn green. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, conjure friendships dear to me. Lightly now the breeze flows, disturbing more than just the leaves. But life's much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow. Patiently the love grows, lifts the weary heart. Gently now she holds me, melts two worlds once apart. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, usher dreams of you and me. Softly then the breeze blows, disturbing more than just the trees. But love's much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow. Melodies of long ago, songs of innocence, harmonies to soothe the soul, past the consequence. Moonbeams rush the dark wood, awakening joys of you and me. Silently the snow falls, bringing winter symphony.
All together now.
But we're much more
So much more
then we can know
As we could ever possibly.
we are one small globe
But an important
in
globe.
the eternal flow. But life's much more than we can know. We are one small globe in the eternal flow.
So you take care, folks. I will speak to you with some good fortune on Friday. Bye just now.